What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hood scientist 94. It's like no, that's my damn YouTube name, I guess. But my little tapped in name is for me. Well, my spiritual name is El Shu Kai well A. Okay, kind of like Shakaya. But the Shu, right? The Shu represents that that upwards triangle on my name. You have the triangle down, triangle X, triangle up, which means change and movement, change in math. Okay, but when it's dealing with Shu and Tef, Shu Kai is Shu is the pyramid down, and Kai is the pyramid up. Shu is representing the air and the fire, or the air. Kai or Tef is representing the lands and the water. Okay, but Shu is gonna represent the fire, which is the fire in the air. It's supposed to be the air and the wind, but a lot of the wind comes from the fire. Okay, which is your solar flare dealing with Ra, and together it makes the seal. Okay, some people call it the 6 point star. Still a David, Star of David. Okay, the reason for that on a planetary thing is because when the sunspot hits around the 360, every 3 times, every 3 years, it forms this seal of David. Okay, it's representing the 369 above and below. Okay, that's what that represents. Okay, so now moving forward, we have a moon that's supposed to be popping up. I'm gonna say it's a green moon, or the stationary object that you see beside the sun sometimes, and also beside the moon. Okay, Nibiru has its own system and it has its own planets, which we're joining with to become a tri-solar system. Okay, so the thing is, joining with the Nibiru system, it becomes a tri-solar system. It seems like it's something that's already been there, but the the Nibiru moon is not Nibiru's moon. It's a planet out of the Nibiru system, solar system, and it's a planet called Lion, Helion. But if you break it down in 2 words, it's Lion. So I'm thinking it goes back to the planet of the Lyrans, low key, just because they named it Helion or Helion. Stay up on your chlorophyll, y'all. See that green dot? That's from that chlorophyll. Is that chlorophyll helps a lot when they're cloud seeding, okay? Because a lot of you might still have your AC on, and they got the AC on outside, obviously. Why is it cold? It's just the same story from Justice League when John had to come to Earth. I think he was on Mars, and what did they do? It was the Greys. It was these white beings. They look like super soldiers. They always show the soldiers looking like Greys. Even the movie Titan, dealing with the moon of Saturn and how they wanted to experiment on people and transport them to the moon of Saturn called Titan. and that dealt with the air changing in the realm, right? Low key, that same type of thing is happening here, okay? And these experimentations is coming from a vaccine that had similar effects, which is kind of weird. I would go check that movie out. It's called The Titan, I think. And they were doing experimentations on people, and they were really turning into like superhumans and stuff like that. But that kind of ties back to the 6D or the sixth ether dealing with Saturn, the sixth planet. It has that same seal. I think it's in one of the zodiacs right now. I'm not really too sure. I haven't been on my astrology shit lately. But yeah, this green moon is called Harrington. Okay. It might have something to do with the Carrington effect, but it's called the Harrington effect. Okay. The Harrington effect is the effect it's going to have when there's two moons present, visible. In my eyes, if the moon already pulls on the tides, then another moon will most likely also do the same thing. But then again, you have to deal with what was the moon's purpose as a real moon and not a manipulation moon by a drone. Because it's a big ass drone. You can go look at my uh, beaver moon video, it'll show you. And if you can get it in better quality, you would definitely see it. Because I didn't need my phone. The phone just made it look a little less real. Usually use the phone and it looks like something else, like, oh, this doesn't look like the moon, it looks like the sun. Oh, this looks like Saturn. Or some shit like that, right? But when I looked at that moon with my camera, you could barely see it. But when I looked at it in my eyes, I know I saw a drone sitting there. It looked 2D in real life, though. It looked like a big ass 2D type of dimensional drawing in the fucking sky, just sitting there to the point it was so real it looked fake. Okay? It's just like a whole bunch of birds fly past you, and like say 100 birds fly like right in front of you past you. It starts to look fake when you look at it. It'd be something so real happening, but it looks so fake. And I've been saying that since a little kid. Now just to see that the birds are fake. You could tell which birds are fake because the real birds, they sing harmonic frequencies. These other birds, they have frequencies, but it's not in tune with this. They try to get in tune with this, but anything it just fucks with something else, obviously. But we're gonna say it don't. We block out any type of frequency signaling to people from these evil ass entities. We blocking all that shit out because you can. They can also, because the thing is, when you tap it in, you're only going to tap into a certain frequency. The thing is if you allow to go back to a frequency you shouldn't be, you're still going to permanently have that type of energy already in you. So if you go back to what you were doing before you even reached that point, the shit that was stopping you from getting that point, then there's going to be an interference. And most of the time, they know you tapped in because of carbon footprints. So 2025 have something called carbon footprint uh, satellite. I saw it on some list, right? So my eyes, what is a carbon footprint? From what I learned a long time ago, I can't really explain it the way they say it, but I remember hearing about it like with the moon, shit in space and stuff like that. So when I started grounding, I started getting my own concept of if I'm making a footprint, because most of the time you can see your footprint in the ground, especially if it was to heat up. When you were grounding and the ground started to heat up, you left a carbon footprint. And even if the ground wasn't wet, you can come back and see it if you remember. Really, your eye's going to pick up on it. Kind of like how there's an eye right here. If you focus, pretty much, you could see that for real, for what it is. Okay. But, anyways, yeah, there's some iffy things about a green moon, but I'm going to make it all make sense because I believe there's going to be a flood Halloween going into November 12th. From Halloween to November 12th. The date says Halloween, the 30th. Okay. Throughout that time, the election is November 5th. Let's add a poll. I can't do that. All right, so election is supposed to be like November 5th, right? Okay. Take you back 90 days back. That was August what? 5th from that time. That would make it August 5th, right? What was going on during August 5th? Because the shit happens every 90 days. The Lionsgate portal, okay? So that same energy that's lining up with Sirius or Polaris or whatever you want to say, the thing is you have to keep that same concept of this is a time of manifestation. This is a time of that's what happens every 90 days. Every 90 days is a degree, is an angle. It's a 90-degree angle. And when it comes from transformation, change and movement going on in your body, the 360 represents completion, not the 33. The 33 just realizes the 6 and the 9, the cycle. That 36 is completion, which represents that 360. And what we're dealing with right now is a 66 plus 6. Okay? Two suns came together. That's a 66. Plus 6 is another sun. Okay? But that math is dealing with the circle within the box, sun, moon type shit, or moon, Saturn type shit. Okay? But let me say this, the moon is a manipulation of the sun, the backside of the sun. Okay? So the 66 plus 6 deals with equals 72. 72 deals with why they're so intrigued with India right now. Okay? India is still east and is really in reality is between the US and California. I mean the East Coast and California. The India is really, yeah. Just putting it by degrees, by their own degrees that they gave. Set 0 north, 72 east from the eastern star. So if you had a compass or whatever that shit called, wouldn't one line go to 0 and then the other line will line up to the degree of where it's at around the 360? That's just my thoughts. Cause like 144, that's the Pacific, and knowing in my eyes, I feel like China is really closer than what they say it is. Um, cause a lot of the East, the shit they countries they say are in the East is actually in the West, and certain countries that's in the East is really East, but it's with us east type shit. It's weird. And then like Germany, like all the little Nazi places, they're really the West. So when people say Western teachings, it matches up like that, but it doesn't match up on the map until you break it down and put it around the 360, right? So that being the 66 plus 6 is the magic square. If anyone knows about that math, I haven't really played with it too much, but I know that deals with a certain way of counting numbers when you're dealing with the magic squares. But the 66 plus 6 is the magic square of the sun. If you was trying to figure out that math, that being said, that's the circle and the triangle, the 720. Now, when it's two of them on when it's one on one side of the mirror and then the other reflecting on the other side of the mirror, now you're dealing with 1,440 hertz. But that's a whole nother story. It's just with this moon shit is weird because a moon can pull on the tide. I feel like if it was another moon that was a moon, it would do the same shit. So it'd be like double the power type shit. And it would amp the frequency on the ground and the waters. Plus the sun doing what it does, that sounds like a proton electron type angstrom. What denotes was is similar to the E, which is why we have an eclipse on October 7th because the eclipse represents that dark E note dealing with protons, electrons, just like the angstrom does. The angstrom is the angel's symbol used in baseball for the California Angels. The same area where the degree of a sunspot is 144. All your degrees around the 360 is dealing with these sacred numbers. A lot of numbers you call angel numbers, master numbers, divine nine numbers. All of those ties down to sunspots. And these sunspots is dealing with lands and pyramids and all types of shit that creates that delta. What is delta again? Delta denotes energy, energy levels. Okay? Denotes a new cycle. X triangle, or triangle X changing movement. What is it changing? The V, the X, D, the C, all that there. Velocity, the voltage, the volume. As we go through different density levels, dimensions that change the density levels from what? The ethers. And this is the seventh ether. And the seventh seal don't settle, doesn't seal till April 2025. So getting back to what's going on right now, because election, everyone's saying there's an election going on, whoop de whoop. Finding out Kamala Harris is a fucking liar. Just like some, I was watching, I think Candace Owens or something, and she exposed it. Y'all can go check that out. But she was talking about Kamala Harris supposedly got, yeah, Kamala Harris supposedly got a grandmother she took a picture with in Jamaica. And yes, she looked black or whatever. But someone did research onto it. Candace Owens did. Y'all can check it out. She did some research into it and she found out that that wasn't her grandmother and that her grandmother died 4 years before she was even born. So it brought up some whole extra shit. So they went even deeper, right? Well, she went even deeper just to find out it was a whole lie. And it's like, why are you lying on TV trying to get black voters and shit? And you're not even black. It's like you're acting even more now. We know there's a mask on your face. And we know, me personally, I felt like it was a nigga. Okay? Maybe there's another one that's not. Because I was feeling like she was a nigga. After you see all these niggas trying to be like females in Queen City, nigga, you start to see that shit on TV. Well, I do. It was like training for seeing that shit. So, like, I heard Rod Hayes, she was like, yeah, it's like two or three of them. But it makes sense because most of the people that do clone and have different aliases, like how there's the fake Gucci man, all types of shit. Even Trump got one. They're doing that shit for 100 bands. They're gonna buy a fucking bracelet or a chain for 100 bands, and you telling me they're not gonna buy no clone? They not gonna buy no clone for no 100 bands? Are you fucking kidding me? Or somebody to get paid? Because if they do, they can make more money. But a lot of them is probably just shunned out that way. But I feel like some of them just doing it because, boom, most of y'all niggas, I ain't gonna lie, I know for sure a lot of you guys thought of that shit when you was a kid. Like, I want, like, if I get rich, do some shit like that. And it was some shit people growing up that thought it was impossible though. Your kid self knew. Because even though it's a clone, niggas was wishing for shit like that when they was a kid. Or like a twin or something, at least. But like, you can obviously tell Kamala Harris is a clone. This is all this shit. But the whole thing is they showing us because the whole point of this awakening is to show you everything that happened and how you really feel dealing with 3,600 years. So even with this reset, I believe that might happen in December. But that goes back to my time shit because I could say it could be December, but it could be 3 months off. That's why this little timeline thing kind of putting it on key. It's just when it's coming to months and all the extra shit, that's when it's 3 months off. So I mean, yeah, it's just like this gate in October 27th. It's the same as the Lions Gate, and that's during the election on the 5th of November. That's if October and November was like July going into August or April going into May, then that would be the same type of energy just in a higher state. That's why you're supposed to be cleansing as you go through the four each year because that denotes you into a higher frequency. And it's like you when you break away from shit and attachments and you're moving forward, you're literally time jumping because the energy is traveling. So now you're time traveling. And these measurements is the measurements I'm telling you according to these dates. And I know it's accurate. So I mean, I'm not forcing you to listen, forcing you to like believe me and shit, but like, cause you have free will. But at the same time, I know what I'm talking about because I literally studied this shit with myself. Like, even when I see it, I still felt like I had to see it. And with that, brought in more information that I already know. because this awakening is beautiful that everyone's remembering and shit. But when you're truly awakening, it's just gonna come back as a common sense. Like it's nothing to like try to like showboat for and shit at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, it's common sense coming back to your common self during this common era, which is dealing with parallels. Okay, you have your BC, you have your AD that deals with parallels. When you draw it out in dimensions, a dimensional sketch, you're going to see what's parallel to each other. And then if you start thinking of how the reflection can cross, that ABCD is a reflection. Well, is like a dimension that's can align with E, F, G, and H. And all those letters dealing, because you know the alpha beta system is pretty much the brain system and is talking about all the cells and the photons of light and all the extra shit. So when you look up these words, you need to look it up in chemistry, physics, and biology because that's no biology, pathology, and chemistry. Psychology deals with physics and pathology. But when you look up physics in the alphabet, it's teaching you about the light. Okay. So A through G is going to tell you about how it's working above and what working above dealing with you below because shit's aligning and that's why you're seeing started going to see more multiple planets and shit like that because it creates that light when it aligns. The light that we're getting exposed to increases. Okay. And it's going to keep increasing and keep increasing. And it's going to feel like it's putting you back to the timeline that it was originally on. But I have a new theory, but I might not be too sure about that. I should just say it anyway, huh? If I'm right or wrong. But yeah, so yeah, back to this moon shit. People say there's no election. Why wouldn't it be? What would be timed perfectly during that shit? Because they're going off of this shit. Their computers, the matrix, all that shit going off that shit. Because it picks up the frequencies dealing with that time period. Okay, just like the body do. Knowing that AI is a reflection of us, it definitely does that. Okay, and that's why it seems like it's a script and clones and all types of shit. You're gonna start to see more as we go forward with the timeline on the physical state. Okay, because you know all the little AI wars and all that shit supposedly supposed to be like in the year 3000. That's like on this timeline schedule, we already at 2300 type shit. That's why the Noah flood gonna match up when this gate opens, and it's gonna come from all this energy that's about to hit the fucking planet. Because these sunspots, they already looking at them. All these sunspots where they looking at where the earthquakes can be, like California and stuff. First of all, you're having a lot of people already prophesied about it, like having visions and dreams, like kids, all types of shit. But you're seeing it more now. It was stuff that people been said, but you're seeing more people like talk about it now about this one occasion about a flood. So I guess I'm gonna be another one. I believe it's gonna be a flood in October around Halloween. Might be multiple places. Cali for sure, because it's dealing with the nine because of the gate. The gate of the nine deals with the west more, around the compass, around the clock. The nine represents the west, the 270. 144 is the Pacific Sea sunspot. That's going to be, I call it sunspot because that's where the CMEs be hitting. And when they're bigger, they're bigger. I was already watching last night. Someone it was like 3 a.m. and he was watching the lassos, like satellites that be tracking the sun and the radiation that's in the planet and stuff. And he was saying they're not showing the information, but anytime it's some shit like this, it looks crazy. It was different lines, just like you would say spaceships, whatever, meteors, whatever. There was different lines going through the sun or whatever. And you was saying this looks like a proton storm, and it looks like it could hit up to a X20, which is really called a Y flare, and that's the flare that's really knock anything out. 'Cause we've been dealing with X flares a lot, anyways. I mean, the radio communication's been getting fucked up all over, but not as much as it really could. So it'll make sense because when these solar flares hit real heavy at these sunspots, it causes earthquakes. These earthquakes activate volcanoes, um, and it can activate solar flares. I mean, yeah, it can activate tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes, all types of shit. When a volcano get erupted, that can create a tsunami, all types of stuff. Whoop de whoop. And them trying to block the radiation to create fall, that's gonna cause a lot of people to get sick, pandemic, because a lot more people gonna be outside, especially the ones that wasn't always outside with the sun out. They're not gonna be out. They're gonna be outside more, and hopefully they're eating better. Because if not, you're gonna be getting sick more. And they already planned it perfectly like that. So it's like that shit crazy. And this blunt been burning for 30 minutes. Sheesh. So when it's over, I guess this video will be over. Yeah, bro. Then they have all this cloud seeding, which is gonna cause more rain because of the solar flares. You feel me? It's like you can just see it coming at this point. If you, cause if I don't know, I feel like oh maybe a lot of you guys heard me, but don't really get the timeline thing. And that might be a problem, cause I could be talking about it, but niggas be like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? And I'll be like, yo, the timeline. We're in the 2300s dealing with the Matrix. Be like, the Mandela effect happened in January because the hertz from the sun was skipping from 20, from 1980, and it was jumping past 2023, 2024, going into the 270, and that made a Mandela effect. And niggas be like, bro, what? And I'd be like, yeah, we put it around the 360. There's a level going 369, counting by 90s. Yeah, because 90-degree angles, you count by 90s, and as you go around and around and around, it's showing what dimension slash what year is matching up with, and it's weird as hell because it makes a lot of sense when you line it up from 2017 from now, because these parallels when you draw these dimensional shapes, then these lines, parallel lines, kind of match up to the little time before Christ, AD, BCE, them common eras. What is a common era? Common era just sound like something that already happened, something that has common with something that repeated in a loop already. So they already know we've been going through these motherfucking loops. It's up to you, my guy. It is up to you to break these loops. You feel me? It is up to you to break these loops. It's up to me too. Cause you could be breaking loops, you be like, I broke all these loops. You gotta keep going. Cause if you, I mean, you could just be in the field, but if you just start chilling in the field, you might start opening up past timelines, past energies. That's why detachment is key as you go through these 3 month phases. Okay, attachment is key, and that deals with your imagination because you have to close your eyes in meditation and picture it. And if you can see it, if you see my hand right now, you should be closing your goddamn eyes. You should have seen all of this. Close your eyes and just, for example, let's do a root chakra on real quick. I think it's the root chakra. We're gonna do 2 chakras, and then you can go look them up if you're interested. You can go look them Jones up, and you're gonna see what chakra. But I know the two is picture picture a time you was in fear, and something that developed into a fear. You probably feel it, see it. Now you see it. Now picture it being gone in a way that your brain can pick it up as it's gone. It's kind of like it's kind of like a software. You feel me? It's like dragging your app and deleting it. So if you could picture that time you was in fear and like somehow use your imagination, maybe like to drag it, put it in the trash, something like for your brain to receive it to like you will never see it again type shit, like it's gone forever. Like some senseis, they say let it flow down the river. Yeah, I let it flow down the river off a cliff. I would think it would be gone forever type shit in my brain. Like that shit could fuck with you though, cause you could be thinking some shit, then you be like, oh no, I mean, it could just pop back up. It's gonna go off how your brain works. So that's why you have to use your imagination. Like that's really how you're gonna have to do it. Don't be no copycat. Use your imagination. How if you can see it, just close your eyes and picture that fear or them fears that feels like it's in your way or them times that happen. If you can see it, you're gonna feel it. Now let it flow down the river. You still have to picture it. Just let it burn in the fire or let it get flushed down the toilet. Something. You feel me? And it'll make you feel more lighter in certain areas. You're gonna feel it. If you can't picture it, it's not gonna work. And that's when you're gonna have to fast. You feel me? And you can do the same thing for a lot of stuff you're grieving about. It's a whole list of it. That's aligning with your chakras. That's how you re- that's how you detach mentally. Because if you try to detach mentally doing other shit or trying to move on with somebody else and you're still not healing, it's gonna always be a trigger. And that's how a lot of arguments start that be real petty. It comes from triggers. And then you be sitting there like, what the fuck are we arguing about? Triggers. You feel me? You feeling like you tried whoop de whoop and you're not seeing it. So that's when it's like alpha beta type shit. Like, but when them two come together, now you can see what's going on in the middle. Because there's always three sides. Got that one side over here, that one side over here, then the truth. You feel me? That's why you have to be in your throat chakra when you're doing that shit. Because when you're imagining and seeing, now you're repenting to yourself. You feel me? Because you're admitting your fears, your griefs, which all this types of shit that's just attachments. But it's become spiritual attachments when it's dealing with you mentally, physical too. Just like how the shit you eat, you are what you eat. Sometimes you can pick up on the consciousness of that shit, and that's where a lot of the anxiety come from. Also, the foods, and a lot of foods is dealing with a lot of drugs. If you did drugs before, just fast and you'll see. Or you just tell off the itis. That's like a drug type of thing. You feel me? And it's alchemy. You think they use animals for sacrifices and all types of stuff like that. That's dealing with the animal kingdom and everything. Even when they start making other beings, that was fucking with the animal kingdom too. Like a lot of weird shit. But yeah, that's how you detach mentally. The physical detachment is gonna come with the food because the physical still deals with the psyche. And when you're eating from the planet, the ground, that's at least that's something in the Bible said like that gives you nourishment for real, for real. Everything that comes out the ground, you can eat herbs, fruit, vegetables. It gives you nourishment. You feel me? It nourishes the body. So it's like, but when you're eating from that, you're picking up off the consciousness. You're picking up you're picking up on the consciousness of the planet. You feel me? So now you're starting to see what the planet see because it's you at the same time. Now you start connecting. You feel me? And you start peeping your energy by the solar flares or the energies you receive, your magnetism. The trees will definitely let you know. The trees will definitely let you know. and it's going to keep showing you. The trees always communicate. You ever heard the legend of how the trees used to sing? They're still singing. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if y'all seen the video, but there's a video out. Plugged the she plugged something to the tree, and it started playing music. Like it was like different trees were playing different music from their frequency they was emitting. And when you put your hand on it, you can feel the energy going through it, just like one of those green boxes that be in people yards or apartment complexes and shit. Them generators, them jumps, uh, the generators, they feel the same way as the trees. It has like a vibration, something like energy just moving through it at a fast motion, kind of like how your body will feel when you vibrating really high. Sometimes you just have to embrace it, unless you did some whole other shit, then you might need to come down a little bit. But if you just like naturally just you gotta embrace that shit. You feel me? The whole point of staying in the heart frequency and higher is because there's science to it that keeps you in a balanced state. Not saying cut off your other chakras because you can't do that. You're gonna be up unless you operate in the wrong energy. But a lot of that times, that root shit, if you operate in the heart and lower, then most of the time it depends. Like the heart and lower, you be on them lower vibes. It kind of fucks with your crown state. It's not science. That is dealing with our heart. And now people are starting to see and be in their truth to fully see. Because you're going to have to be in your truth to fully see as you boom, boom, boom. But it comes like that. You feel me? Even though it rises up, it still comes like that to the point in science. But if it ain't right, it ain't righteous. But yeah, anyways, getting back to the beginning. Fucking two moons, 30th supposed to be on the timeline, 2343, dealing with Noah's flood. Then it's the Lion's Gate open, August, yeah, October 27th through November 12th. The elections right there. We got all these weird events happening in October, starting with these two moons. And they're hiding a lot of fucking data, but you can tell they're trying to block some radiation that's coming in because these clouds is up. So that's definitely going to cause a lot of more rain because it's trying to hit, but they're manipulating it. So what happens is storms. Shit probably about to happen all over again, what just happened over the weekend. It's just because I know the energy is rising every day. It's not going down. That's what people need to understand. This energy is not going down. It's not. So if they ever show it is, they're capping. Okay? If they show the energy is going down, they're capping. It's cool right now because the clouds fell. When the clouds fall, it eliminates the charge that's in the air. It's like eliminating red blood cells in the body. It's pathological blood restriction in a whole different state. It's really terrorism on the people. They're terrorizing people doing this shit. And try to make cover ups off some other shit that they already released. Like, how you gonna try to spray a city of mosquitoes and you the one that released the mosquitoes? Like, that's like something the devil would do. Cause the problem and then give a solution. So y'all niggas come goddamn running to it. Some weird shit, bro. Like, that'd be like the weirdest motherfuckers ever, bro. And real niggas gonna see that. Not no damn bots. Fuck y'all niggas got going on. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Like, everybody need to goddamn step to them and take control of your straw man. Operate like a private citizen wherever the fuck you wanna go. And start getting your shit, period. Especially if you knowledgeable about a lot of paperwork that you're dealing with on the business side and all that. Just look at it as you, as the business. Like if you know a lot about that stuff, like I say go for it because they're trying to operate with your shit and their contracts is over. This whole shit is really over with. And they're just waiting for you to step up to the plate and stand on business. And they're gonna try you every second through that shit unless you just stand on business. But that's when you gotta reach the people. You feel me? You gotta come from the heart. And I'm realizing it's gonna take a lot of courage, but your ancestors is always there, especially if that's what your intent of doing. Like, it's to the point this shit got me about to tear up a little bit, like, cause I feel like I'm getting forced into it, but it's like I did some shit and I was like, yeah, I'm about to just do this. So it'll be like some checkmate shit, but I didn't know what to say. And I felt like I knew what to say, but I just didn't. I did, and I said the right shit, but I didn't. And now they on some bullshit, like, they just doing the little smallest things I didn't ask for. And I don't know what they really got going on. And it's weird, but I don't care, because at the same time, they're over with. Like, I don't have no contracts with these niggas. Like, I have a license, supposedly. They want to get me to reinstated. No, bro. It's not illegal to drive. I'm not saying just throw a nigga in the street. If you can't drive, don't be letting don't be letting everybody drive. Because you don't need no license. Like, niggas need to learn how to drive. Like, me, I personally could drive many vehicles. Got many licenses for other shit. But them operating in sea, like dealing with the sea laws on the land, they're not operating right, and they're just done for. Like fraud, niggas are getting locked up and not even supposed to be in there. I mean, I guess when you hurt somebody and all that extra shit, that's something different. But all the other stuff, no. It's just how I see it. People, yeah, getting businesses and stuff like that, but that's just gonna make people like, and it's like the illuminated ones too. It's just gonna make them do the same shit. There's still a lot of people dealing with anxiety, and they be having everything to say. I can say I dealt with it too, but it's just when you able to peep that shit, you peep that shit, and it's a lot of people in high, that's getting like high places. You gotta watch certain people, bro, because it could be even we. That's the whole battle of anxiety, but you have to look at it as a different awareness. That means something you need to pick up on that's fucking with that energy. You feel me? And remove it. It's just everything's starting to seem cool, but the energy is shifted and it feels good. It's supposed to make you feel high like you just hit a blunt. Especially the ringing. You get your body in tune, you hear those rings, it changes your vision. You feel me? Like, and it makes you feel high. Then you, then it could be you hear those rings and boom. Or certain people can hear it just a tiny, tiny bit, but it's like kind of off pitch. And then I think for the people who don't hear them, get them headaches, and they might still hear them and get them headaches. But that means you just need to get some air flowing to your head. And that's when them purple drinks come into play. You choose purple, yellow. You gotta have the yellow because that yellow represent that solar plexus. Like I like pineapples. Pineapples rebuild melanin too a lot, and um, it clears out the throat chakra when you eat them from its acidic waste. But I mean, it's not really that acidic to me. That shit really open you up your sinuses. You should eat a whole pineapple. Get one that's not fucking clone. A lot of people get them gold ones. You gotta let that ripe out and let it turn gold and be all juicy. You feel me? But yeah, these parallels pretty much join 1 through 6. Now we're dealing with 7 through 12. And I've been telling y'all that 6 settled. Been settled since April. You're gonna start seeing more shit. That means the 7, 8, 9 opens up above. 3, 2, 1 open up below. The seas, the waters. That's what's happening. So above, so below. Deal with the 7 gate, but it's on a physical state. Now we them ones. Kids probably gonna write about this. Yes. No. All this shit is over for real. It's already in the air. Consciousness. Motherfucking consciousness. So now I see why they're so interested in the way the brain works. It's amazing. But don't let it get to your head too much. It's just common sense for yourself. Just remember this is social media. It's a social media. Of course, stay on some bullshit. But I mean, stay in peace, stay dangerous. Let's get it.